All right, so I want to thank you all again for joining us today. We are going to be talking about alternative sourcing solutions to attract and retain the right candidates during this pandemic. And so we know that during this pandemic, there has been a lot of different things that has happened that many of us have never experienced in our lifetime. And so we know that there has been a lot of companies that have had to lay off employees, that may have had to furlough employees. And so with that, there's a lot of different people that are out of work right now. And so we thought that it'd be a great time to just think about other ways or give you all some different solutions in terms of how we can go about attracting and not only attracting, but just retaining the workforce or the people that we do have. And so I want to start off with just some quotes just to get you all thinking. And so as we are going through this, if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat box or come off mute and ask those. We have quite a few who are manning the chat box and can get those questions asked for you. And so 1 in 3, what do y'all think that is? What do you think this number represents? So come off mute or put in the chat box. What do you all think? And I'll give you a hint, is dealing with the pandemic. What do you think? Any ideas?
1 in 3 don't wear a mask?
Maybe. And if that is the case, we can definitely help you with that. Riley has just pointed out that mask that we have with SHRM. So if you want to have a mask, then that would be a great way to get a mask with the Kentucky SHRM logo, with the SHRM logo, and to offset during that pandemic. But that could be the case, but that wasn't the one I was referring to with this one. Good idea. Let's see. Kirsten says 1 in 3 are looking for work. And yes. So during this pandemic, 1 out of every 3rd person is no longer working. 1 out of 3 people are looking for work. And so that is one of the highest numbers that have hit unemployment in a long time. And so what that means is that Kentucky actually was one of the worst hit. I'm gonna try to see if I can mute. Okay, so Kentucky was actually one of the worst in the nation, with having the most people unemployed, furloughed, or laid off during this pandemic. So yes, we have a lot of people that are out there in Kentucky who are looking for work at this time. And then on top of that, what do y'all think this number represents? 700,000. What do you think this number represents? Any guesses? Let's see. Newly unemployed from the pandemic. Close. I believe so. I believe that 1 out of 3 is close to that 700,000. Yes. People with questionable history. Yes. And Kirsten says 700,000 of those are second chance employees. And those are correct. Yes. And so 700,000 men and women are released from incarcerated facilities every year. So every year we have 700,000 men and women who are now looking to enter the workplace. And then this year especially, we have 1 out of 3 Kentuckians who are now displaced and looking for work. And so that makes it, during these times right now, there are quite a few people that are wanting work and needing work and are able and available to work. So what that means is that when we think about people who have maybe a questionable history, or somebody who may have been incarcerated, who may need just another chance, most people are saying that I'm willing to work with those individuals. And so we have 51% of non-managers, so 51% of just individuals that are working are saying that they wouldn't mind working with individuals who may have a criminal record. And then 55% who are our leaders are saying they are willing to work with individuals who may have a criminal record. And then we have 48% of professionals, HR professionals, who are saying that they are willing to work with people with criminal records. And so if a lot of people are willing to work with criminal records, then it comes to ask, well, are we looking for people with criminal records? Are we actively recruiting those that may have a background or any other type of past? What are we doing to kind of find those individuals who may have been displaced due to the pandemic, or who may have a background, who may just need that second chance? And so even though most people are saying they are willing to work with those, we only have about 5% of managers who actively recruit for them, and only about 3% of HR professionals who actively recruit for those. And so today we are wanting to talk to you all and just kind of bring some information to light about all the things that are available to you when we get our talent back to work. And so when it comes to getting our talent back to work, there are really 5 different areas that we're going to talk about today. And one is workforce readiness. And so, of course, whether your company is going through a downsizing, whether you are having to lay off employees, or if you are having to furlough employees, just really get that workforce ready, and things that you can do to help encourage them or support them during this time. And so talent acquisition. So some companies are laying off, but some companies are hiring. And so how can we acquire those talents? And then specifically, how can we acquire talent that may have been one of those that are impacted or affected by this pandemic? And then once we acquire that talent, what are some ways that we can onboard them to where they can have a successful stay at our companies? And then once they're onboarded, how can we continue to develop their talent again so they can retain, and we can retain that talent? And then also, how can we keep them mobile, or thinking about how they can grow with us? And so these are the 5 topics that we are going to discuss today. And this is ways that we can additional ways that you can have some incentives when it comes to supporting those getting the talent back to work. And so one of those things that we have that can really provide some incentive is SHRM. So many of you are members of LSHRM, many of you may be members of National SHRM, but there is a link that we're going to send out to you along with these PowerPoint slides. But that link is going to talk about a toolkit that you can download totally free, but it's about getting talent back to work. And so all of those 5 topics are all listed there, and it provides additional resources on how you can attract and retain talent. And then additional support that you have today is you have this panel. And so I'm with Workforce Readiness with LSHRM, and I'm partnering today with Alisher, and he's with the Office of Employment and Apprenticeship Program. And so he has a team of people that are here to just really share and highlight some of the incentives and some of the additional programs that you may not be aware of that can help us when it comes to workforce readiness, talent acquisition, onboarding, talent development, and talent mobility. And so you'll see that we have Charlotte Kern. She's on board. She's going to talk to us about some rapid response. We have Amanda, who should be joining us, that's going to talk about the work opportunity tax credit. And helping us get back with those second chance employees, we have Michelle DeJean, who's going to be talking about the federal bonding program. And then we have Joe Paul, who should be joining us, that can talk more about different ways that we can develop our talent. And Lawrence is going to be talking with us about ways that we can continue that talent and continue to get them as mobile and have career advancement opportunities for them. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Alisher.
Thank you, Danita, and thank you all for providing our office a platform to share some of the workforce sources that we have available to businesses across the Commonwealth. My name is Alisher Barikinoff, and I'm a workforce development consultant with the Kentucky Career Center's Office of Employer and Apprenticeship Services. Our role within state government is to be the business-centered hub for all workforce-related needs, from recruitment, training, retention, growth opportunities, various programs, labor market data, incentives, and much more. We want to be able to meet your business where you are and through collaborative efforts help you grow and strengthen your workforce. For example, we want to partner in improving retention rates through specific programs like apprenticeship, which you'll hear later. We want to be able to partner with you in initiating your diversity and inclusion strategy through diverse hiring, such as veterans, individuals with disabilities, immigrants and refugees, and many others. And we want to have constructive feedback from businesses in regards to their workforce so we can leverage local and state resources to strengthen our Commonwealth's education system for your long-term success. To be able to meet your workforce goals, our office has dedicated consultants like myself to be the designated workforce Google or encyclopedia to meet your needs. We're very similar to your HR generalists in the HR field. Through our partnerships within state government, such as economic development cabinets and others, and through local partners, such as Kentuckiana Works, together we're able to deliver customized services and incentive packages for your workforce. For example, if your business is undergoing capital investment or expansion projects, and at the same time planning to hire, we may be able to offset some of those costs. There's not a one-size-fits-all model. We welcome individual conversations to figure out what package works best. And that's why we're the encyclopedia of the workforce for state government. In today's presentation, you will get a glimpse of the kind of services that are available to you. But no, this is just a glimpse. It doesn't encompass all of it. And we always want to think in big picture. We'll start off with Charlotte Kearns. She's our talented professional from our partners at Kentuckiana Works, who will let you know how your business can play a role in helping those qualified but laid off Kentuckians due to no fault of their own come back to the workforce. And they'll come back to the workforce at your company. Charlotte, I will let you take over the virtual floor and kickstart your part of the presentation.
Thank you very much, Alisher, and good morning, everyone. As Alisher said, I'm Charlotte Kearns. I'm with the local Kentucky Career Center, working under Kentuckiana Works, and we're responsible for the 7-county region that includes Jefferson, Bullitt, Shelby, Spencer, Henry, Oldham, and Trimble counties. And we're here to help with a variety of services that Alisher already highlighted, but one of them is rapid response. Some of you may be familiar with rapid response and the events that we host after you file a WARN notice. A WARN notice is required to be filed by any company that has a layoff of 50 or more employees. The notice is required 60 days prior to the layoff, and the reason for that is that allows us ample time to connect with the affected workers and to connect them to resources like veterans programs, WIOA programs, resume writing, interviewing skills, and also connecting them to open job opportunities that match their skill set. But what's the value to you as an employer? One of the ways that you can use the rapid response team and some of the resources that we have available is by accessing the rapid response list on workforce.ky.gov. On that list, you can see anyone that has filed a WARN notice in the past year. That's really important to you, especially at this time when the struggle for talent is so great, as you might be able to identify some of your competitors or other businesses that hire the type of employees that you're looking for. Then you can reach out to my team and we can help connect you to those employers and those employees. We've had great success in the Kentuckiana Works region with hosting virtual hiring events that allowed employers to connect with these affected workers. Many of them have long-term stable employment history. What they don't have is great interviewing and resume skills because they've been working for a long time for the same employer. And we'd love to connect you with that type of talent. If you have any questions, I believe our contact information will be shared with everyone in this slide deck afterwards. And I know that was a very quick overview, but I am available to answer any questions by cell or email to individuals. And I thank you very much for your time.
All right, thank you so much for that information, Charlotte. And as she has stated that She is available for you all. If you know of a company or if your company itself is having to lay off or would like to reach out or know more, if your company is hiring and you want to know more about some of those employees that may have been impacted, then Charlotte will be a great resource. And yes, we will be able to send out the slides or provide that contact information so that you can get in touch with Charlotte if you have any additional questions. And so in addition to that, we're now going to, so I want you all to think about if you have brought on somebody that may have been, who may need a second chance, or if you have brought on somebody that maybe they have been laid off and been laid off for quite some time, and that now they may have had to get some assistance, some government assistance. And so if you hire those employees back, then there could be some great incentives that are available to you. And so we're now going to talk with Michelle, who is going to be talking about the Work Opportunity Tax Credit. I'm going to turn it over now to Michelle DeJean.
Thanks, Danita. Thank you again, Elsham, for hosting the Office of Employer and Apprenticeship Services. Can I be heard? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you, Michelle.
All right, just want to do a little sound check that I'm being heard. Okay. Good afternoon. Now that it's about lunchtime. My name is Michelle DeJean, and I'm the Deputy Executive Director of the Office of Employer and Apprenticeship Services. And I'm going to talk to everyone on the webinar today about incentives that are accessible through the Office of Employer and Apprenticeship Services. And you could even start with Charlotte and Charlotte's team, who knows about these unused resources. The Work Opportunity Tax Credit Program is a federal tax incentive program, and the Office of Employer and Apprenticeship Services is the state workforce agency that administers the program. We certify employer requests for a tax credit. They range from $1,200 to $9,600. And this is a tax credit that can come to any employer for hiring from targeted populations. It is a federal program. It's an untapped, underutilized resource that we just are, I just want everyone to remember the Work Opportunity Tax Credit. So if you hire a veteran, if you hire a long-term temporary assistance needy family recipient, short-term, you guys can read the targeted populations here on the slide. It is a really simple program. It's 2 federal forms that you can, we've automated the process through the WOTC.KY system. It can bring $9,600 back. And how WOTC works is there is a team here in Frankfurt that either receives the employer's request for a tax credit through the online system, or we'll take them by paper or mail. And then we certify that the individual you've hired meets the eligibility requirements of the target group. And then we issue the employer back a certificate that they would file with the IRS saying, I hired an ex-felon, and you get $2,500 off what you owe the federal IRS. Last count by numbers, Kentucky issued 41,000 certificates, which brought back $62 million back to the Commonwealth. So the more tax credits that we certify brings more money back to the Commonwealth. And who wouldn't want $9,600 off what you owe the IRS? We simplified it, 2 forms. You keep the forms or submit them to us through our online system. In addition to the Work Opportunity Tax Credit, did you know we have a state tax credit as well? It's called the Kentucky Unemployment Tax Credit. If you visit the website at the Kentucky Career Center Employer Tax Credits, it's a $100 tax credit. Unfortunately, I haven't automated that process yet, but the form is on the website. You send the form in, you can get $100 off your tax credit or your state taxes for hiring a long-term unemployed individual. That is a wide overview. Just remember 2 forms, WOTC at ky.gov, really simple. We've taken the forms, we put it in an automated process. We'll email you your certificates back for you to file with the IRS. And if you have questions, my contact information will be provided. I would be glad to get you that information. You want me to?
Michelle, if I can
Yeah.
add one more thing. As
Sure.
a former recruiter,
Yeah.
what we did for our company, we put these documents right there on the onboarding process. Individuals completed them, and it's an easy way to gather these details that may be difficult to discuss, but it's a regular part of the onboarding process in many companies. And we see less than 30% of Kentucky companies using this. So we want to get that percentage much higher because these are federal dollars that we want to spend to help out Kentucky companies.
And to add what Alashir is saying, I often get, well, I don't know if they're eligible. Even if you think your new hire is of one of these targeted populations, we'll worry about checking the eligibility. There's a team of 4 here in Frankfurt who has access to internal databases to do all the validating and verifying of the information. So several large employers, and many of our employers do, as Alashir had said, put the 2 forms in their new hire packets, and then they establish a employer account in the WOTC system. They enter those forms in. And many of the target groups, especially we partner with the Cabinet for Health and Family Services, we have those responses overnight. So you'll have your certificate next day if it's any of the Cabinet for Health and Family Services programs.
Thank you.
So
Michelle.
remember your WOTC.
Yeah, and I just want to add, I work for a company that actually included the WOTC as part of their new hire onboarding. And so when you're already having them complete their W-4 forms or their the Kentucky State forms or any of those other new hire onboarding forms, we just slid that form right in there. And so they're already filling out forms. They just went through that. We didn't have to specifically ask, or do they need any of that, but it was there on the forms. They would complete it and then we would send them off. So it really wasn't, other than for us printing out the form and making sure it was included, that was really the only thing that we had to do. We didn't have to have a conversation or anything like that. And majority of the time the employees would fill it out and they wouldn't ask any questions about it either. So it really isn't a painful process at all. So we encourage you all to take advantage of getting that those tax dollars like Alashir pointed out.
Danita, I see I'm getting a couple of questions regarding tax credits. The first question, non-for-profits for the I think it's 401(c) or a non-profit, they are eligible for a credit against their Social Security tax, and it is only applicable to the veteran targeted population. So for non-for-profit, you would submit the same forms, but you would only be eligible, it's a tax credit against your Social Security tax, and it's for just the veteran targeted populations. Do you want me to answer all of those?
Sure. So will there be a credit against employer paid payroll taxes?
It's a tax credit to what the employer owes the IRS. So there's an IRS 503(c) form. So I don't know if it's payroll, what particular tax it is. I'm not the tax expert, but the state gives the employer a certificate to file and a form with the IRS.
Thank you for that. And thank you for asking those questions, Carrie Ann. And we have Latoya who is asking, what is the name of those specific forms?
Sure, it's a IRS 8850 and an ETA 9061. I have direct links to those forms on our website. So they are downloadable and accessible through the Kentucky Career Center Employer Tax Credits URL in the slide deck. Both of those forms are there.
Thank you. All right. So it looks like next we have Ms. So in addition to the work opportunity tax credit, before we go on, are there any other additional questions, anything else that may have come up? Okay, so thank you for asking questions. Again, feel free to come off mute, ask your questions, or put them in the chat. And Michelle, I don't know if you know, but Carrie Ann says, thank you, that helps. And so we're now going to have Miss Michelle, again, talk about, so what if you do bring on somebody that is now one of our second chance employees? So what kind of incentives are available for you as a company if you do that? And so Michelle, can you talk to us about the federal bonding program?
Definitely, and thanks for having me about talking about the federal bonding program. Federal bonding is it's a program accessible through the Office of Employer and Apprenticeship Training, and I'm really passionate about federal bonding because I wrote the grant for federal bonds. I have fidelity insurance bonds to give to employers to help the Kentucky Career Center system in placing hard to place job seekers into a job and to keep a job. The federal bonding program is a no cost insurance policy that protects employers against loss of money, property resulting from a covered employee's act of fraud, dishonesty, stealing, or theft. I have insurance bonds I can give an employer today if you have an individual that you're just not quite sure about and you want to secure, give you assurances that they're a good hire. We use the bonds nationally, have been used in 55,000 job placements in a variety of industries, and less than 1% of loss has been reported in the federal bonding program. The bonds are issued as soon as the applicant is started. I issue the bond on the start date of the applicant. They are $5,000 insurance. We can give an employer up to $25,000 depending upon the position. And I'll give you an example. If you have a felon who is coming or has a charge of theft and you're going to hire them in a jewelry store, then we could possibly look at giving you more than $5,000 insurance. I worked with a dealer, a car dealership in Eastern Kentucky, who is hiring felons to do some maintenance and janitorial work in the car dealership. They have access to car keys. So that's one example of giving insurance for higher than the $5,000 limit. Each bond covers the first 6 months of employment. I'm sorry, I was reading the pop-up. The 6 month, I'll get to your questions. 6 months of employment, and we can renew it if you would like to help them keep the job or secure. They are renewable. Can we go to the next slide? The bonds, how they work, as soon as they start, $5,000 limit, $25,000. It covers the first 6 months. I got some duplication there. I do apologize. And how do you get a bond? Charlotte can get you a bond. Al-Shir can issue you a bond, or you can contact me directly to get a bond for hiring an individual that is hard to place. There's a couple of myths with the federal bonding program. Everyone thinks it's only for felons. No, it's not. If you have a candidate that has a poor work history, a candidate that you're just not quite sure about, and you would like to have some assurances of this, we can look into issuing bonds for an individual who just needs some assistance and gives you assurances that they're a good hire. If there's anyone who's working with job placement, we only issue a bond once, and the job seeker knows they only get it once, so they don't want to mess up. And then we do give bonds as well for promotional or to secure higher employment as also. And there's no paperwork too in federal bonding. Charlotte and Al-Shir and myself, we do everything over the phone or collect some information. So federal bonding is a new program. We just received a $100,000 grant last July. We have the bonds for the businesses of the Commonwealth. So I have to use these or I won't be able to convince my leadership to keep the program going. So please contact us if you're interested in federal bonding. Questions about federal bonding. So either the job seeker has to be from Kentucky or the employer has to be in Kentucky. I can work with employers outside of Kentucky for federal bonding, but I need one or the other to be a resident of Kentucky.
Thank you. That was a very good question. What other questions do you all have regarding federal bonding?
Danita, before we move on, I did want to say, we have our contact information, URL resources available to connect us to. But we also have our email box called workforce@ky.gov. If you ever have a workforce question, you could always email that to, and our office will actually field that and get to the right individual, the right program that you're seeking. So I'll put that in the chat. It's workforce@ky.gov. And it's any workforce related issue we'll help address.
And to bring my session or my information to close, you can combine tax credits as well. The tax credits there's no limit. It's for every new hire. And so you can if you hire a felon, you can get a tax credit and we can bond them. So we combined our services, supportive services for the employers of the Commonwealth.
Wow, thank you. Thank you for sharing all this great information. Raleigh is saying this is a great program. And so again, if you know that you have somebody that meets these qualifications, please reach out. Please take advantage of these incentives that are coming back, that can come back to your company.
And they're at no cost, free.
Yeah, who doesn't like free? All right, so thank you, Michelle. Thank you for sharing about the federal bonding as well as about the work opportunity tax credit. And so now as you're going through the process and you're going through and your employee, you now have reached out and acquired employees that may need just some additional assistance. You now have onboarded them to where you and your company are receiving some of those great incentives for bringing them on board. And so now that they are on board, how do we develop that talent and get them to have the skills that are needed to be successful in the workplace? And so we're going to turn it over now to Joe, who's going to talk about how we can grow and develop talent and talk more about the WIN Career Readiness Program.
Hello, everyone. Actually, it's good afternoon now, so I hope everybody up there in Louisville is enjoying this almost Chamber of Commerce style day here in Lexington, where I am. Let's talk about soft skills. What do you do when you have somebody that you know has the aptitude to do the job, but may not have the attitude to do the job? One of the things that the Kentucky Office of Employer and Apprenticeship Services in our partnership with Kentucky Skills U, our adult education partner, has purchased on behalf of the Commonwealth is the WIN Career Readiness System. It comes in two parts. Let's go ahead and go to the next slide, please. It comes in two parts. The first part is the cognitive part, or what we call the work readiness part. What that is it allows you to find individuals who have a certain amount of aptitude that you're looking for in math skills, in reading comprehension skills, and in certain spatial ability skills, or the ability to locate information off of some sort of graphic. Whether that's a map or just something as simple as a ticket going into a restaurant, anything like that, where there's information that needs to be pulled off of the piece of paper or off of the screen. One of the things that you're looking at right now is what we consider to be the skills gap. How many of you guys are familiar with that? I can't see any hands being raised, but I'll tell you about it. What it is essentially is that the skills gap is what employers are looking for and what the workforce is demonstrating. So what employers are looking for, those things like work ethic, attitude and enthusiasm, the on-timeness, basic English skills, math, communication, teamwork, a lot of those things. We've already talked about the career readiness part of it. That would be your basic English skills and your math skills. But what do we do about the rest of those skills? The WIN Career Readiness System is the system that we found that actually helps best with this. because they provide training and assessments for all of those other skills, those essential soft skills. So now that we've got somebody that's hired, we know that we've maybe used the career readiness as part of the training or part of the onboarding process. Now we need to go to the essential skills part. Next slide, please. So when you're looking at those individual career readiness skills, and we've talked about these right here, but when we look at those type of skills, we want to make sure that those are relative and whether or not they are in sync with what most employers need. I'll throw some numbers at you. Individuals who take this battery of assessments, it takes about 3 hours to take all those assessments and earn the Kentucky Career Readiness Certificate, can help you diminish your turnover rates by as much as 55%. There was a company down in Chattanooga, Tennessee that had a call center that was experiencing over, in one position, over 75% turnover in every, in their call center every 6 months. They were put in touch with the company that runs this, and what they once they started going through this process, they dropped that down to 5%. Essentially, we found out two things with that kind of information. One, individuals that are willing to sit there for 3 hours to take assessments are probably people that are going to show up for work. That's one. And two, we're also finding out those that have the aptitude to do that. Let's go to the next slide, please. Oh, wait a second. That's not me. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the essential skills part of this, those soft skills. Could we back it up one more, please? I'm sorry. Okay, so let's talk about the items like communication and teamwork, customer service. Those are skills that are not readily available to some people if they do not have someone to model those behaviors from. But when essential skills courseware does for you is that it allows people to see how that can be modeled and can see how there's a better way to solve a problem through communications, through the benefits of having teamwork, the benefits of what good customer service and business etiquette look like, how to present ideas, dealing with conflict in the workplace. We all know that there is going to be conflict. How do you deal with that? These are the things that the WIN system addresses, and we think it addresses very well. Now you're sitting there saying, well, how much is this going to cost me? Come on, say it. Somebody say it. So what it costs you is that you've already paid for it. We provide this service for you guys free. All a business has to do is contact me, and I will sign up somebody and give them a little bit of training. It's a very intuitive system, and they can do screening and testing on their own and use it as part of their onboarding process. Like any onboarding process, I would say that you do not want to make an entirely data-driven decision using these assessments, but it's very smart to use it as part of it. Data-driven hiring decisions tend to provide you with fewer surprises once somebody is on board. And when it comes to providing any of the assessments, I can help you with that. Once somebody completes the courseware, there is an online assessment that they can take, and there is also a proctored assessment that can actually earn them a certificate. Any of that stuff is, I said, available to you guys free. You just have to contact me. And the final portion that I would like to share with you is
Joe,
that, yeah.
Before you go into the final portion, we do have some questions that are coming up.
Oh
And
gosh.
so,
I've got my
sure.
camera right in front of my chat window.
Okay, so one of the questions is by Sandy Ringer. She's asking, can this training be utilized by a trainer who wants to continue building skills in a manufacturing environment?
Absolutely. The great thing about the WIN Career Readiness System is that it is adaptable to almost anything we need. A good example of that would be that we were contacted by a distiller who was having problems in their packing house. And one of the things that they were wanting to address is whether or not their first line supervisors were doing a good job. So we took a large section of the, by the way, some of this, the soft skills portion of this, they do have classroom-led activities in there as well. So you could print out the entire course and provide very targeted to very specific problems that you're looking for. So Michelle and I actually met with their first line supervisors, and after going through the training and looking at their response to it, our determination was that it wasn't the first line supervisors that were the issue. It was the support the first line supervisors were getting from their superiors. So it was that was one of those things that was, okay, we went in there looking for one thing, but we didn't find that's not what we found.
Good. So thank you for answering that question. And another question is, what are the assessments that are used?
Okay, the applied math assessment is your basic math sense work skills. Any kind of math skill that you would expect to have or understand for a workplace items. We're not talking algebra. We're talking things that get up to the level of simple geometry, or most of it is just basic areas, volumes, making change. That kind of math skills. If you were, I don't know how many of you guys have go back as far as I do, but when we were learning our add and subtracting and multiplied and dividing, one of the things that we didn't know was that those items were going to, for any job out there that uses math skills as a primary portion of it, mastering just those 4 items will get you about 65% of the jobs out there. Wow. By the time you get up to another level, like that would be like a bronze level of these certificates, which is roughly somebody who is going into 7th grade. By the time you get up to the silver level, which is somebody who's starting their, who has probably gone through their sophomore year and going into their junior year, that would qualify you for about 75% of the jobs out there, those kind of math skills. By the time you have a high school graduate, which is our gold level, those would provide you with about 85% of the jobs out there. And the highest level, which is platinum, which is somebody who probably has a little bit of post-secondary education, those would get you about 95% of the jobs out there. So we're talking basically high-level engineers, structural architects, math professors, those kind of people are the only people that would be needing math past that.
Anita, I want to mention, as an administrator of this system within your organization, you can decide what level you want individuals to be on. You get bronze to platinum, that is all your choice.
Nice.
Correct. There's a company down in Bowling Green that only wants to make sure that they have people that understand what volume is. Mm-hmm. So when they have a X amount of product that has to ship, they want to be able to have somebody sit there and say, okay, I need to build a box that's this size. And that's what they use it for. They only use the map. And they very, very much tailored it to that.
Great. And do you offer any other assessments in addition to math?
Yes, the basic reading skills, very similar on the grade levels with those. And these, so that nobody is surprised, all of these situations are actual real work level skills. So you're going to see examples on all of these, both the math and the reading and the locating information are items that you would see in everyday workplace environments. So that's one of the things that we like about this system, is that it makes common sense. Not only is it a really easy system to run, and it's very intuitive that way, but it also is a system that it really helps people explain why they need to know the information that we're trying to get them to learn.
Great.
Anita and Joe, this is Michelle again, and I'm going to give you an employer testimony of the Win Career Readiness system, if that's okay. Just so everyone on the webinar knows, it's a very flexible, versatile professional development system that the state can provide an employer at no cost. If you, the Office of Employer and Apprenticeship Services uses this system in pre-hire interview assessments. So you could use a portion of the pre-assessments in this system. Anyone who interviews for this office takes a 20-minute assessment. So in the hiring and selection of candidate process, you have data to confirm that the individual has customer service skills, has communication skills, has good work ethic. So you can use all of the system, pieces of the system. We also use the system in employee training. So if an employee is continually late, then the time management training program and professional development to help in those needs. So overall, the system is another resource underutilized that we can provide any employer of the Commonwealth access to the system at no cost. Just reach out to either Joe or myself.
Great. Thank you for sharing that information. There's another question in regards to emotional intelligence assessments. Do you have any assessment that can capture or measure emotional intelligence?
Unfortunately, we do not have an assessment that works on that level. I understand that the need for it, especially with some positions, but yeah, I'm sorry, we do not have anything like that currently on the shelf.
Okay, thank you. And so we are, so thank you for sharing that, Joe. I think we have interrupted you. I think you have one additional final piece that you wanted to share with us.
Yes, the final portion of it was that when we are looking at that in totality, if somebody has gone through and taken the two proctored assessments for the Kentucky Career Readiness Certificate and the Kentucky Essential Skills Certificate, we would consider somebody who has passed both of those to be what we would call work ready. They have the core or the basic aptitude, and they have the at least demonstrated that they have the attitude that would make a good hire. But like every assessment, remember, these should not be the sole thing that you use. We have seen a lot of people do very well on the ACT and flunk out of their freshman year in college.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Thank you so much for that, Joe. And so just to kind of recap, are leaders and non-leaders alike able to take advantage of this training?
At any level in your workforce, you can use this. In fact, we do know of at least one company that require this, the soft skills training at all levels from the CEO down.
Great, thank you.
Because they saw that was their issue. They were having customer service problems.
Great. And if you already have a training department, or if you have training going on, this can be in addition to that. And I also know from working in human resources and doing employee engagement surveys that many times training would show up as something that employees are wanting more of. And so a lot of times companies may score low in the area of training and development. So this sounds like a great way to provide some additional training to leaders, to non-leaders, to anybody in the workplace that may just be able to get you all or get your employees more development in some of the areas that may be of interest to them or that may be of interest to you. So I think, as Joe mentioned, this is free. So what a way to take advantage of some great opportunities. And again, if you would like more information regarding the WIN Career Readiness, then you can please reach out to Joe. And so
one last thing.
Sure.
The only thing that you need is Google Chrome and a little bit of time.
Google Chrome and time, yes.
Yep.
Did you say it was 3 hours?
The long assessments, the proctored assessments are, yes.
Okay, and so if they wanted to break it up, could they do that?
Absolutely. They can break it up as much as they want. They can do one module at a time. It doesn't matter.
Nice. All right, I don't think I see any additional questions. So are there any additional questions before we wrap up the WIN Career Readiness?
Yes, I do have a question. So on this program, would you guys show us how to utilize, where we can train our team members, or how to use this, or to do this?
Absolutely. What I would do is I would set whoever your HR manager up as an administrator in the system, and then they would be able to at that point either put the next level down from them into the system, and or just go ahead and sign up individuals that they need for training. One of the other things, if you have like your entire workforce that you want to encourage to go through this, maybe you require them to do it off hours or anywhere that they have an internet connection. You can even go in and bulk load your entire workforce into the system, and they would all have access to it.
Thank you.
As users.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for that. All right, well, looks like now we're going to move into our next topic, which is centered around career mobility. So again, think of the now developed, and now you have employees who are ready for the next opportunity. And so when they have these next opportunities, how can we retain employees, and how can we get them equipped to have the knowledge, skills, and abilities to qualify for the next opportunity? So we have Lawrence, who's going to talk with us about apprenticeships. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Lawrence.
Thank you. My name is Lawrence Winburn. I'm the Registered Apprenticeship Program Coordinator for the Office of Employer and Apprentice Services. And we all know the reality of today's labor market. Positions are available, but workers are not trained to meet the business needs or requirements. Likewise, candidates are not able to secure employment because they lack the skills that businesses seek. Apprenticeship can bridge that gap. The apprenticeship structure as it is today was established in 1937 with the passage of the Fitzgerald Act. Since then, it has continued to evolve with a strong focus on increasing diversity amongst apprentices, industries, and occupations. Registered apprenticeship is an employer-driven model that combines on-the-job training with job-related instruction that increases an apprentice's skill level and wages. Apprenticeship is a work-based learning strategy with differences from other training approaches. It provides a paycheck from day one and wage increases as apprentices become more proficient. It connects employer and work simultaneously. It combines both on-the-job training and job-related instruction. It results in a recognized credential, an industry-recognized credential, and it is recognized across all 50 states. Registered apprenticeship is a flexible training strategy that can be customized to meet the needs of any business. Apprentices can be new hires, or they could be current employees. Apprenticeship, it helps businesses thrive by developing high-skilled, highly productive employees, reducing turnover rates, increasing productivity, lowering the cost of recruitment, increasing safety in the workplace. Some of the other benefits from apprenticeship for businesses, it customized training resulting in highly skilled employees trained to industry employers set specifications, increased knowledge transfer due to the on-the-job training with a subject matter specialist combined with related instruction. It helps businesses create a stable, predictable pipeline for qualified workers. It's a structured, systematic training approach, which is a beautiful thing. Also allows employers to set the benchmark and structure for return on investment. Some of, I did want to say this though. I want to let you know that Joe made it very apparent that it was free for the win. And I want you to know that to register an apprenticeship program in the state of Kentucky is free. It costs you absolutely nothing to step into the world of apprenticeship, to offer this tool to create a pipeline. We can customize an apprenticeship program to meet the needs of your business and the skills of apprentices. You control the training. You can predict the retention rate. I would like the opportunity to help you see in detail how this may work for your company. Let's identify a position and set up an apprenticeship. And as we develop the program, you'll see. You'll see the roadmap as to a successful outcome. And to keep in mind, at any time you can grow apprenticeship career paths. Right now, the USDOL offers over 1,200 occupations that are apprenticeable. And within those 1,200 occupations, they branch out into multiple different variations of the occupation. But what I'll do is I'll go ahead and wrap it up because they gave me 5 minutes and I want to make sure I stay within my 5 minutes. I can get long-winded when it comes to apprenticeship. Trust me, I can really get into it. But if there's any questions, I'd be more than happy. If anyone is interested in seeing, maybe they may have a career path that they're having an issue with filling, I would love to have the opportunity to sit down and identify the occupation, job description, help them create a pipeline. And let's create that apprenticeship for that and watch it work. I mean, apprenticeship is booming right now. It is a wonderful tool. And a lot of businesses don't realize that they pretty much have the foundation already in place. And by utilizing what the USDOL provides, which is just the framework and the outline, the apprentice at the time they graduate has a certified credential. Apprenticeship, as the old heads say, is the original 4-year degree. So I'll stop there, folks, and please, if you feel free to call me. My cell phone number will provide all the information. My email, if you just have any simple questions, I'll be more than happy to show you the pathway and how easy it is, and it does not require a lot of paperwork. So a lot of things, because it's a USDOL program that is, you got a book to fill out. There is no book. It's just a few pages.
Great. Great. And so I can attest to just how wonderful the apprenticeship program is. When I was working for LINAC, I remember that it was a manufacturing company, and we had assemblers, and we also had a more skilled position in machining. And so whenever it was time to recruit and hire new machinists, we always struggled trying to recruit and find people who had that talent. And so one of the things that we did was we reached out, we created an apprenticeship program to where we could start taking our assemblers, and as a career path for them, they could join on the apprenticeship program, where that apprenticeship program required training from JCTC, so they were required to go through and get additional education, but they also were required to work with another person in machining called a journeyman, to where they could get the actual hands-on skills, to where they were picking up those skills, they got the education, they had the hands-on training, and they became a machinist, where they were able to get a new skill, but also it filled a gap for us with LINAC. So some of those recruiting headaches, we just now made it a career path. We went internal instead of going external. And so employees that have gone through the apprenticeship program are meeting expectations. They are doing very well. And again, we were able to retain employees who may have left if they weren't able to continue to grow and develop at that company. So I test, it was free and it was seamless, and it really provided some additional employee retainment for the company. And so, yes.
So you mentioned JCTC, and that's something, if you want to get engaged with us consultants, we can try to navigate what kind of funding streams there are available within the general workforce world in Kentucky to get these programs off and running. And something I did want to mention, Lawrence, you said it's an alternative to a 4-year degree, and that is the case. If you look at the word apprenticeship, if you guys know some French, apprendre, is to study, to learn. And so it is very much a work and learn program, and where it provides alternative pathways. We see it as a tool for diversity and inclusion efforts, because it may be individuals that did not get the opportunity to go to post-secondary, but this is on-the-job post-secondary education. Yeah. And then typically apprenticeships have been known to be skilled trades, right? Your lumber, your plumbers, your electricians, but now the world's moving into the new age apprenticeships, such as every company is a technology company. Now you have your IT department. We have technology apprenticeships. We have business apprenticeships. We have recruitment apprenticeships. And Lawrence mentioned there are over 1,200 occupations that are registered. And so we want to stretch it and see how far we can get to fill these recruitment goals that companies have.
Yes, I did want to debunk. A lot of folks, when they hear the term apprenticeship, they automatically assume that it is a union. But I can, even in the state of Kentucky, the unions only make up 40% of the apprentice programs that are available in the state. And as Alisher was explaining, there are multiple different occupations that are available, from accounting technician, bartender, aerospace technician, chief cook, fire medic, film lab technician, facility manager, computer programmer, a facility manager. I think I said that already. Engineering technician. And child care development specialist. So it's not the traditional pathway just only for electricians, tool makers, and those union occupations, or construction occupations, I should say. So
Lawrence, this is Raleigh. I have a quick question,
yes,
because I appreciate you sharing all those other professions. One of the big questions I get as an HR professional is like, how do you get into HR? And is there such a apprenticeship? So we're mentoring. Like our organization and Kentucky Sherman started a mentoring program, but is there such because I heard you use the word recruiting. So yes. I was like, I just got out of college, or I'm planning on going to college, but I want to be a recruiter. I want to be an HR manager. Is there such an apprentice program? And if so, could we highlight that on our website so that way you can help our members, and of course, any other HR practitioners who are saying, I want to learn more about benefits. I want to learn, how do I get that hands-on knowledge? Because again, as a practitioner myself, you can have as many degrees as you want, but you need that hands-on practice. How can we get people who are interested in our profession that kind of information?
And the answer is yes. There is an occupation registered with the USDOL for human resources, and there's different branches to that. I will provide that information to you, and we'll sit down with you and go over it. And to make sure what we share is very clear, and how simple the process is, how great of a tool it is. Yeah. Yes, sir.
That'd be great.
Right. And what's really cool is I can hand that over to Danita Taylor, and I know she will be all over that, and it'll get back to me appropriately.
I knew that was coming.
Delegate to the best.
So yes, I would love to. I'll get with you later, Lawrence, to learn how we can work together with that. But that does sound
awesome.
great. And look, we already have a person wanting to sign up. JD says, sign me up. We already have our first apprentice. Lawrence, it looks like we do have some questions. Do we have one for sales development? Lawrence?
Yes, I'm here. I'm listening.
Oh, sorry. There's a question for you. Do you have an apprenticeship for sales development?
Yes. I apologize. Yes, we do. What I can do is share with Danita. I'll share it with you.
Yeah.
The entire list. I'll share all the different occupations list with you, and that way you can share with the entire group. That way, if there's a position need, and they run across it as they're scanning through, and we can make that connection. That's a beautiful thing. I'll do my best to help you put that in motion.
Great, thank you.
Yes.
And it looks like we have another question from Cheryl. She says, are there companies signed up or listed to do pre-apprenticeships?
We do have pre-apprenticeship in the state of Kentucky. There are several companies, and what I'll do is I'll get with that list as well. I'll get with Track, which is the pre-apprenticeship folks, and we'll get that information over as well.
Great. And can you list your contact information for offline assistance?
Yes.
Do you have an email address we can put in the chat box?
I'm getting ready to type it in right now.
Perfect. Thank you.
Remember,
type it in right now.
Workforce@ky.gov. You're going to reach all of us.
Yes.
Great.
Lindsay Ransdale is on top of that. Yes, you can touch base with any of these programs, anything specific, anything broad. Send it that way. We can bundle these programs. We could, make it as specific as you're looking for. Have that conversation, but that's the email to get in touch with all of us.
Great. And it looks like we have a question that may be for Michelle. R. Brayton is asking, is there any special help in coaching felons for applying for work?
Let's see. Yeah, your Kentucky Career Center can help with your felons and assist them in applying for work. Charlotte, are you still on the line? We may have lost you.
I am, and I'm happy to let you know, in the Kentucky Career Center, Kentucky and Works region, we are partnered with several transitional living facilities, and we work specifically with the Brady Center, which is a Department of Corrections transitional living center, downtown Louisville. Plus, we have some other partnerships and referral sources with Prisoners Hope and some other halfway houses and the Women's Healing Place. So we are attracting talent that do qualify for federal bonding and are interested in a new opportunity and are available immediately for work.
Great. Thank you.
I should add, I was remiss in mentioning, it was interesting to me to find that last year, our number one referral source was the Department of Corrections. And we had a on-site partnership at the NIA Center with probation and parole, and we do receive direct referrals. And one of the added benefits of hiring from that population is they are subjected to drug screening as part of their reporting process, and that's often a relief to a lot of employers that are struggling with that in the workplace as well.
Perfect. And so are there any other questions for the panel? We still have Michelle, Alashir, Charlotte, Joe, and Lawrence. Any other questions for them?
Hey, Danita, I did see there was a shared link to see all the apprenticeship programs. And for HR one, there's a workforce development specialist that may be really close. And what these occupations, they can be altered to a degree to fit your company needs. So just know as you're looking through those occupations, they can be altered. And then Lawrence can also work with you to create a whole new occupation that'll be recognized by DOL. It's a couple extra steps, but those steps can be taken.
Nice. Thank you. All right. Any other final questions or thoughts? Okay, so I want to thank our panel. Thank you all for joining us today. Thank you for sharing all this great information. You have given us a lot to think about, and it sounds like a lot of us are interested in learning more. And so you should be hearing from some of us. I know you'll be hearing from me about the apprenticeship program. So we have some comments from Sandy, who is saying great program. And so, so we do thank you all for your time and for sharing this information. And so for the LSHR members, I want to let you all know before we finish out the call today that I am Danita Taylor. I the Director of Workforce Readiness. And so, so some of the things that we can do is we are all here to help you all with your workforce readiness. So if there's things that you need, please feel free to reach out to us. Latoya's on the line as well. Latoya is part of the team. So we are, I think there's two others, Letty Jo and Katie Ryan. And if you have any further workforce readiness needs or questions or concerns, or if you heard something on the call that you don't know quite who to go to, please feel free to reach out to any of us. We'll be more than happy to help. Also, if your employees, if they need additional information or if they need additional guidance or anything like that, please feel free to reach out to the Workforce Readiness team at LSHR. We are more than happy to provide any assistance that we can. And sometimes we also need assistance from all of you. And so part of Workforce Readiness, we partner with other entities who are helping to develop and get our workforce ready. And so one of the entities that we are partnering with is the Louisville Urban League. And so if you have some time and you would like to dedicate dedicate some of the knowledge that you know, they are looking for speakers to talk on different things around the workforce. So if you're interested in volunteering and talking about some topics that are that you think would be beneficial for people who may need that to enter the workforce or to advance in the workforce, please feel free to reach out and let me know. And also, if you are in the recruiting area and you are like to interview people, then the Louisville Urban League is also having a day in October where they will be doing some mock interviews. And so they would like our help. So if you are available to interview some people, and these are just mock interviews, we're just giving them some interviewing skills and tips. So if you are interested in doing that, please feel free to reach out regarding that. And also some of the other upcoming events, we have the Diversity Conference, which is coming up in October as well. And we have Miss Ladea, she's part of that team. And so Ladea, would you mind just sharing a little brief overview of what that Diversity Conference is and how they can sign up and participate in that if they like?
Yes, definitely. Well, first of all, I want to say great presentation. I really enjoyed it. I had to use this as like a working lunch. So I have a lot going on right now, but I listened and it was very informative. So thank you all. And we are having a diversity, equity, and inclusion conference. Our very first conference is going to be annual. It's our very first annual conference that we're going to do every year. And the theme of it is becoming agents of change. And it is taking place October the 13th through the 14th at 11:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. every day. So it's going to just you can carve out a long lunch if you like from 11:30 to 2. And we're going to have some awesome speakers and presenters and panel discussions. It is going to be through Zoom. So just know that you can, join us anywhere, whether you're at home, at work, traveling, you'll be able to join in on the conference. And there will be more information coming soon, such as cost and those things, but just mark your calendars for October 13th and 14th, 11:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. And it's the theme is becoming agents of change. So tell your colleagues, tell your friends to join in with us, and we hope to see you there.
Great, thank you, Ladea. Yes, I hope to see all of you there as well. And we also have the 80th anniversary coming up. And so, Raleigh, would you like to talk more about that?
So our 80th anniversary is coming up really soon, and I'm kind of trying to post as we go. And what we're doing is, if you didn't know, L. Sherm has been in existence since 1940. So that is a lot of years, a lot of HR advancements. And I think about just my own personal career 10 years ago, where I was like, I don't know nothing about no HR, but I figured it out, right? So, and it did take L. Sherm to do that for me. So it's a great organization. And we're just going to celebrate the leaders, the presidents, all the volunteers, all the members that has made L. Sherm such a wonderful, inclusive organization. And we want you all to be there. So please check out our website, check out our Facebook, share, and do whatever you need to do to kind of get that number of members. We have about 570 members in our organization, and we're considered a mega chapter. My goal before COVID-19 was to get us to be a super mega chapter, because you and I both know there's well over 1,000 HR professionals here that would find value in what we do. There are new HR professionals out there. That's why we're doing mentor groups and things of that nature. So again, there's such great value in being a member of this organization. And we're gonna just have a big celebration for the 80th anniversary. So I need everyone to register for all the upcoming events, especially that one, so that way we can celebrate you and say thank you for being a part of our organization and continuing giving us an opportunity to grow and be successful in advancing the HR practitioners and professions overall.
Great.
I would just like to piggyback off of that. I don't know, I've only been in the Louisville area for a year, and I don't know what I wouldn't have been as far as I am today in Louisville if I would not have had the Sherm Foundation. So the Sherm has really been awesome to me, and I cannot wait to celebrate the 80th anniversary. I'm just looking so forward to it, because I would not have been where I am today had it not been for just reaching out to Raleigh and was like, hey, how do I start networking in Louisville? And it's a year later. I think I've been here now, August 15th would have been a year for me. And it's just so, I have accomplished so much within a year, and I could not have done it without L. Sherm. Even going back to get my master's started in human resources. So I have a lot to be thankful for, but I couldn't have done it without L. Sherm.
Thank you.
Thank you, LaToya. That was the sweetest thing I've heard today. Thank you. And so LaToya is not alone. There are lots of others who may feel their way as well. So please join us. We definitely want to celebrate L. Sherm, as well as celebrating all of you, like Raleigh said. And so other things that you all may want to consider are to help sponsor some of these programs. So some of the things that that the LSHRM program does create and needs funding. So if you are a company or somebody you know would be interested in sponsoring any event, we have 2 coming up, the Diversity Conference as well as the 80th anniversary. So please feel free to reach out and let us know if any companies are interested in sponsoring any one of these great programs. And so it looks like we have Raleigh in the chat is inviting everybody for the Diversity Conference, which is on October the 13th and 14th. And he breaks down what the day 1 objectives are. And so please feel free to reach out and read through all of that, as well as join and browse through the website, lshrm.org, for additional information on that. And so are there any other thoughts before we wrap up?
Anita, I just have one comment. This is Lisa. In addition to just thanking the panel for a wonderful job in providing some excellent solutions, having us think outside the box to help solve some of our workforce needs, I thought it was well done. Bravo. I just wanted to add, I don't think it's been mentioned, Marcus Goodwin and the certification program process is starting. It's getting underway for the fall. So anyone who is interested in getting their certification, free classes available. It starts September the 23rd, well structured, well organized. And as a person who got their certification a few years back after talking with Raleigh, I can tell you that it is well worth it. And so I just want to make that plug that Marcus's team is getting started here very soon. Thanks, Anita.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you for plugging that in. Yes, I can attest. I got SHRM certified probably 3 years ago, and the only training that I did for it was one of those certification programs, was the LSHRM study certification. So it works. Yeah, I just did that and I was able to successfully pass on my first try. So if you have any interest in joining and being certified in human resources, I definitely would recommend that study group, the LSHRM study group. Yeah, so any, yes,
I do have one last thing, and I'll try not to belabor the issue, is that we actually have some free, we have 2 free passes to the Kentucky SHRM, virtual conference. And on the 29th, we're going to have an HR Connect quarantine edition, and we are going to select someone from whoever attends that to get a free ticket. And I believe we have a second free ticket that I believe we're supposed to give to the people who participated in this call today. So surprise, if that's what I'll do is I'll partner with my communication and marketing person and Danita to figure out who a very clear way of just selecting somebody from this for attending this meeting. So what's really important is it's always great to attend the meetings because it's great information, but you never know when you might win something. So, so just be aware of that. So if you if I reach out to you and say, hey, Tag, you won, let me know if you can attend the virtual conference. And it's a 3-day pass with a value of $549, one ticket. So if you can attend, let me know. So that way I can get that to you. So just be aware of that.
All right. Thank you for that. And JD Spark says you should give them one of those LSHRM masks.
Well, yeah, that would be nice too. Yeah, but again, donations, SHRM Foundation, the SHRM Foundation, you can get a mask. I will happily get you a mask if you give us a donation to the SHRM Foundation.
All right. So again, I want to thank the LSHRM team. I want to thank Alisher and the OEAS team for delivering and sharing so much great information. And I want to thank all of you for joining the call. And if you have any other questions or want to reach out, please feel free to do so. We are more than happy to help you. So if there isn't anything else, then we're going to wrap up. And I wish you all a fabulous Tuesday. And we'll see you at the next LSHRM event. So have a great day, everybody.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thanks.
Bye.